Hello, friends. It is the first truly soft morning that I think I have had the chance to experience this season now that spring is really here. And I had a lovely walk. I took the compost to the bins and walked all over my neighborhood, up and down as many hills as I could find. And now I'm sitting and lingering over my coffee and putting off doing the things today. To say that I've been preoccupied is an understatement. I suffer from sincerity and too much thoughtfulness when it comes to the world and also to what I am trying to affect. And I want to say a couple things about that. First, 3 weeks from now, we will be holding Discovering Joy Women's Retreat in Tuscany with a group of lovely women who have very particular things that they're focusing on. So part of my preoccupation is finding ways to create containers where these things can be explored, not just verbally, but in the body, experienced. And I have also been listening, and I think this will be backwards, but I have been listening a lot to Kate Bowler. She has a brand new book out called Joyful Anyway. Thank you, Kate Bowler. I have been enjoying what she has to say about life and living in a particular posture for a few years now, and when she started talking about this book, I was immediately taken with it. I think that her life journey, while the particulars are different than mine, she's landed on a lot of the same, I don't want to call them conclusions, because there is no conclusion. There's no final answer, and maybe that's what it is. That's what I want to say. Is that when I say things like joy is a choice and hope is a practice, these are lived for me. Both macro in the world, in the chaos and violence and uncertainty, at the same time that day to day, there's so much comfort available to us so easily. You want a hamburger and it will be delivered to your door. You need, you don't have time to go shopping and somebody can bring you a new outfit or your groceries. Or people are coming for dinner and you want to impress them with a 4-course meal. At the same time that threats to bomb people out of existence are happening just casually in this device. It's deeply unsettling for me, and probably for a lot of people. And what I want to talk about is that I think part of the problem is if you're a thoughtful person at all, you had a vision at some point early in your life about when you would get there. Get there. Okay, achieve, arrive, and where? But it you had some broad strokes of what you expected. And as life goes along, oftentimes these things don't happen. Or they do and they're not satisfying. Or both. And I put together the women's retreat because I had myself and continue myself to experience what happens next when you realize that and you're not willing to accept that as the final statement. I believe deeply that life is happening your little boat is going down the river, and a lot of us have been paddling so hard and ruddering and maybe you've got a bunch of other boats. You've got a boats, and you have a flotilla, and you're trying to control your whole flotilla. Maybe somebody told you to, or you think that it won't go well unless you do it. And a very wise friend of mine, who happens to be my coach, told me that I can put the paddle down and I can lie down and the river keeps flowing. And the first time she said that to me, it was radical, and I was like, but. So I don't think I'm alone in any of that. And that's a meandering way to say that all the little moments that led me to realizing that the final statement is not happening and I am not arriving, I'm still going and still exploring, and that's delightful. And the pain comes and teaches me stuff. And the joy arrives through the side door and colors my life. And it can for you. So on a retreat, we create a capsule, Maria and I, to experience that in deep care and fun and understanding and talking and all of that. But I want this to be something anyone interested can experience. And so a week or so ago, I announced that I am beginning a monthly virtual salon for women called Accessing Joy. And in that 12 or 18 month experience, I haven't totally settled on it yet, 2 hours a month, we will have discussions, explorations, some bodily experiences, some writing, journal prompts and things like that, to access our creativity and rebuild our resilience and rediscover ourselves and see ourselves in each other. And in the most warm, humorous way of like, oh, silly me, I thought I was alone. And there you are. You? Aha, me too. I am starting that. I'm not sure of my start date. I'm kind of aiming at late June, but maybe early July. I want to talk about it. We're going to explore writers like Kate Bowler, like Anne Lamott, like, gosh, it doesn't matter. You'll talk to me about it when you want to. We are going to, month by month, explore together and sort of restart your rediscovery, your reset, your remembering. Another thing that I think about a lot is that we are born with an internal recognition of what love is, what joy is, what play is. And somewhere along the way, not all of us, but I did, and I think many of you did, dealing with all the checklists sucked away the playfulness and the joy. And I never quite lost it. I felt it at times, and I knew what was bringing that on board. And yet I couldn't seem to quite step into living that way until a few years ago. And I'm fully dedicated to not just following that myself, but bringing others along. One little thing that made me think of before I say bye Many years ago, when I was a little baby singer, 14, 15 years old in high school, there was an older singer, and she was very beautiful and very talented, and she was everything that I could even imagine being as a freshman, a senior. She was lovely, and she would hand me sheet music and talk to me about singing in the band that her father had and what that felt like. And when she was graduating in the spring, she pulled me aside and handed me another piece of sheet music of a song that I had told her I liked when she sang it. By the way, it wasn't easy to come across this stuff back then. This is in the before times. Even getting a hold of a book with a song in it and getting to a Xerox copier and making a copy for myself. It was a whole thing. She handed me this music, and I thanked her profusely. And of course, I was probably looking at her with great admiration, that sort of puppyish girl crush thing that we have for older girls at that age when we're growing into ourselves. And she looked at me very sincerely, which will always capture me because I suffer from great sincerity, earnestness. And she said, promise me that anybody who comes along and wants to follow in your footsteps, who wants to understand how to be a singer, promise me that you will put your hand behind you and help them along. And boy, that went straight in. And my entire life since, and boy, am I older now, I have followed her instruction. I didn't know that it was a life practice until I was much older. But that's what I'm focused on. My path, but also bringing others along. If you're interested in being part of this women's salon, please get in touch. I'll put a calendar link in the comments, and there will be a page on my site, but it's not there yet. So, joy anyway. Joyful anyway. Backwards, sorry. Happy to see you on this Sunday, and I'll talk to you again.